what you've been waiting for, our speaker. Yay. It's so nice to have Grace Lanni here. She is a branding guru and influencer. She's going to be talking about why your job search needs a cause. Can't wait to find out. You are going to be talking about action steps to elevate your brand, impact your cause, how to choose a cause for your brand. Why do you need one? So anyway, she's always full of wonderful advice every time she talks to Job Club. She is the sought after branding influencer of All About That Brand. A certified professional career manager, she knows what companies require for a job search brand on social, resumes, cover letters, and within an interview. Be sure to connect with her on LinkedIn. Watch how she engages her audience for deep and rich business connections, and subscribe to her All About That Brand podcast. I'm sure she's going to talk to you about that as well. Let's give a very warm welcome, as warm as we possibly can through Zoom, to Grace Lanni.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I so appreciate Kathy and Shannon inviting me here. I always love to speak to this audience, and you're giving me a chance to really highlight something that's so passionate to me, and that is giving back to a cause. And so it's one thing to sit down and prepare your resume. It's another to think about how people are actually looking for you and determining, if I have 3 candidates and they all have the same skills, how do I choose the candidate that's really going to serve our organization? And so, again, Kathy mentioned, thank you very much, about our podcast. You can join that on your favorite podcast station. We also just launched Giving Out Loud. That is on Spreaker only for a little bit longer. So we're kind of taking our time there. And today I'm going to start with a question for you. So you're all in front of your tube. You have your pen, you have your paper. I would love you to just take 30 seconds. How do you see your online and offline reputation today? So how do others see you, right? Take just a minute to write that down and kind of consider, how do others see you on, say, LinkedIn or just online? And I will share this presentation with Launchpad so that they can forward it to anybody who's super interested.
Thank you.
So I'm going to just take a little bit of time and sidestep to kind of the 101 of what is a brand, because people think about it in lots of different ways. And quite frankly, I consider it what people say about you after you leave the room. Like, the reality is that we don't own our brand. We inform others what we would like our brand to be, but the network really owns our brand. So it's kind of like being the wine inside the bottle, and the person reading the label or the person creating the label is the one who gets to design that brand. So that's why it's a little bit of a science and an art. It's something getting some support with, doing some research on, learning about and spending some time with really can elevate your position as part of your job search. So what happens when you get that working? Number one, you're seen as a leader in a particular category. So if rocket science is your thing, right? Talking about it, reviewing articles that appear in Scientific American, actually communicating, sharing with other people talking about rocket science, you'll be identified as one of those people that knows something about rocket science. New job opportunities pop up. People reach out to me all the time and say, hey, would you fill in the blank? Would you come speak? Would you be interested in doing a contract to help us with branding our executive team? Would you help us identify a cause that supports the brand of our business? These opportunities come out of the conversations that I'm having online that people can find me. Sometimes you get invited to join special projects. Sometimes those are around causes. Like I love that Kathy and Shannon are talking about different organizations that are just bringing people together, right? Because when you go and work for someone, you're working with people, right? So the more different groups of people that you have like interests and connections with, that's really going to unfold new opportunity for you. So you can go ahead and read through all these details, but I think branding is something that I would say when I first started in being a professional career manager and then just identifying with personal and professional branding, there weren't a lot of people talking about it. Today, you almost can't go on LinkedIn without seeing a post about branding. And you have a lot of different people talking about them being a branded photographer or a branded life coach or a branded this or a branded that. So the word brand has kind of lost its home a little bit. And so I love to include this clarity, like really how people are speaking about you, how they're introducing you, what a recruiter sees your resume, their translation of that is your brand. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about, how to ensure that your online brand is on point. So believe it or not, something as simple as saying, hey, great job. Somebody gets a new position or they posted something that's really meaningful, complimenting others, man, that will really give you this high social IQ, right? It basically is like, hey, this is a good person. This is someone we would love to have in our business. And again, tuning up that LinkedIn profile, that's where recruiters, where hiring managers, that's the first place, only the first that they're going to look and make sure that if they hire you, you will represent them well, not only representing you, but representing them and connecting well with others, not just commenting for the sake of commenting, not just reaching out to people because you want to go work for that business, right? Actually finding something about their world that is interesting to you, right? So if that hiring manager makes a post that's really meaningful to you, you could simply say, hey, I so appreciate your post about X, Y, and Z. I'm thinking about it differently because of that. So you're not asking them to hire you. You're not asking them to get on the phone with you. You're not asking them to have coffee with you. You are just complimenting their communication. And so listening, by far, I would say taking some time, especially if you see something that ruffles your feathers a little bit, stepping back and just taking a moment or even a day. Sometimes if I see something that's just like, oh my goodness, I need to take some time so that when I respond, it's less fired up about emotional conversation. Like, wow, thanks for saying that. It really took me a day to think about it. And it is all about being transparent. It's all about engaging, being available, being approachable. Please make your headshot and your cover photo available to everybody. Because if you look like an empty head, people are going to pass you by. People won't connect with you. People won't hire you, especially when you're looking for a new opportunity. Here's a guy, again, that had a blank headshot and a blank cover photo and didn't even know it because it's a setting in the LinkedIn privacy. And so he had an opportunity to be a contractor at IBM and really wanted to move into a full-time position. And he's he's not a young guy. He's not 45. He's someone that's older. And he had a lot of gut issues around, gosh, I feel like I'm competing against all these other people and I'm not interesting enough. And come to find out, this guy plays guitar. He actually grew up with Stevie Ray Vaughan. So if you're an Austinite, you know who Stevie is. He grew up with him. And so when he started to think about the life experiences that made him interesting and how that connected him with his brand, right? He's in charge of, now he is full-time, right? 3 years in, he's full-time. He is a level 3 engineer at IBM, managing onboarding users all around the world. So he's on the phone with India, he's on the phone with folks in Eastern Europe, he's on the phone with, he's managing issues around the world. Are we onboarding or offboarding? And he connected his guitar playing, right? Digital harmony, that's a play on his guitar playing. And, this is a movie the guy likes, right? He likes The Matrix. So that's just a similar snapshot. So he's clearly a tech guy. He's kind of bringing something in that's interesting. And you know what? This is his headline. Onboarding users just simply get work done. Please don't put your last title in here. Please consider this as if there's a writer, a newspaper journalist writing an article about you, because these words follow along with your name regardless of what you're doing on this platform. And so the idea is to position yourself as someone who can contribute to your future position, to really allow you to paint that picture that you've already landed the ideal job that you would love to have, and allows you to follow people who would be your peers, who would be the people that you're looking up to, and the influencers in that space. Okay, so another thing to write down: what are people saying about you an entire year from now? Okay, you're in your job, you're doing super well, you're adding value, you're getting to do the things that you really want to do. So this response is what you want people to see when they look at your social presence. Okay, so what is your job search brand? That's really the core of the conversation today. And the something new, why do you need to talk about a cause? Like, who cares about that? Well, guess what? If you are working for or with millennials and Gen Z, they only buy and engage with people that are clearly open, transparent, and giving back to the world. It's just how it is. I'm a Gen X, and understand, the only reason I understand millennials is because I have to, right? My kids are in that world. They're in their 27 and 29. They help me understand the why, right? The why they believe and why they are concerned about what they're concerned about. It has to do with how we raised them and the world climate and their accessibility to that world climate. They're face to face with it 24/7. And it is not something to set aside, because very often those are the people that are the recruiters that you're working with. Those are the people that are going to be promoting you and working with you. And sometimes, gosh darn it, sometimes they're your hiring managers, which can be challenging, right? How do you work with folks in different generations? Understanding that is super important. And guess what? People are going to remember you. If, for instance, you were in the service, I talked with one of my clients yesterday. He is someone who was in the nuclear program in the Navy. He's now working for a company. His boss was just replaced. And he's like, you know what? This boss is not for me. I need to do something different. And I want to figure out what that something different is. And I want to figure out how to position myself so I look like that person. And so being sticky, what creates people to be interested in him is how he's giving back to the veterans, how he really is caring about them. He's in the Mission 22. This dude is doing push-ups every day, and he's sharing that on social media. He's, no kidding, making an impact and serving a community that he's so relevant with, and he's so connected to, and he wants to make sure that those people have the mental health support that they need to feel good about life. And the last little nugget here is authenticity. You know, this is not about creating a picture of you that isn't real. This is about creating the most magnificent version of you that you are authentically sharing. And, you know, you don't have to put the brand of the tidy whities that you're wearing. You can share authentic information without getting too personal. Promise. Okay. Next conversation. Is your brand ready for a cause? Because just slapping a cause onto your LinkedIn doesn't mean that's done. You want to take the time to really understand your brand profile and what brand is all about. And there's so much power in doing that well. And here is just a little template, right? That'll talk about the vision. How's the world going to be different when you have this new position? What do you have to do to get that new position? What's the cause that you're going to lean into to help you for that position? What inspires you? And what are your values, your passion, interests, your strengths, right? I know that with Launchpad Job Club, you have career managers that are helping you craft this kind of idea. And my goal today is to really help you focus on cause as part of that conversation, so that really will separate you from the other people who can do what you do, and how to place that into your brand profile, into your LinkedIn, how to place it well as a volunteer, as a give back in your resume, so that, you know, all your awards, where you went to college, and then you have a volunteer statement. You have the ability to really up level how you're giving back to your community. And as you, I know there are a lot of words in here. I'm going to just read this one to you. So hopefully the cause that speaks to you is 100% aligned with your new work tribe. Here are a couple examples to consider. Imagine you are a plant-based eater and are very against meat eating for whatever reason. You probably don't want to go to work for a Brazilian steakhouse. Sharing your cause and why you care about that cause shows that you are conscious about that cause, and it's authentic, and it will magnetize plant-based team members. And it is so fascinating to me when people start giving back to causes that they care about. All of a sudden they'll meet someone, and maybe they're married to the person who works for the company that can hire you. I mean, you never know how those connections are going to happen, but giving back, showing your best self, that is a magical combination for job search. Okay, so volunteering for a nonprofit, we talked about that. Kathy and Shannon talked about that earlier. So, you know, 101, what is really a nonprofit? They operate with the purpose of social benefit. All funds received must be committed to that organization's purpose. Versus tribe is another word that people throw around. And it doesn't mean just your work tribe, doesn't mean friends, doesn't mean family. It means all of it. It's the groups of people that you resonate with, you have the same values with, and the same challenges and ideas of success. So sometimes, you know, just looking for .org will help you, but sometimes nonprofits don't realize they're supposed to have a .org, or they have some other different extension. But as you look for nonprofits, there are good ways. Austin Gives certainly reaching out to Launchpad Job Club, they can help you find nonprofits that really need support, and being able to give a little bit of time, work on specific projects. I mean, Launchpad Job Club is, I believe, a nonprofit. Shannon and Kathy will have
Yes.
to. Yes.
Yeah, we are.
So giving back, this is what I'm doing today. I'm giving back to Launchpad Job Club because I so believe in that cause. And, you know, meeting with like-minded folks, networking for job opportunities, and giving out loud together creates a bond. So it's one thing just to write a check. I could just write a check to Kathy and say, hey, go ahead and find yourself a speaker. So how much fulfillment is that for me? You know, it gives me a little fulfillment for the amount of time it takes me to write the check, fill out the envelope, put a stamp on it, and then it's gone. Versus getting onto social media, creating an event for this speaking engagement, reaching out to my community, telling them that I'm giving back to Launchpad Job Club, which is what I did this morning. And it allows me to reconnect with Kathy and Shannon. So if someone comes to them and says, oh my gosh, our business needs to figure out how to partner with Launchpad Job Club, they can say, you know what, we need to get Gracie in the room because she can really help us elevate our presence with this company. There's really some great things that come out of being present and being sharing. So giving out loud, you don't need any extra money to do this. It's something that you can do right as you're in the middle of your job search. And there are three things. Number one, engage, right? Go out and share. If Launchpad Job Club is the nonprofit that you're serving, share their events, invite people, connect with the officers and the team members, the AV team, the volunteers, connect with the community that is in and around Launchpad Job Club, right? And dedicate time, put an hour on your calendar so that once a week that you're actually leaning out and supporting a cause that matters to you. Sharing the nonprofit post, their ideas, sharing their impact online, super powerful, especially if you're in the engineering space, if you're in the tech space, right? Engineers like the nuts and bolts, they like the details, and having a snapshot of the impact really allows you to resonate with the new job that you're looking for and also supporting Launchpad Job Club. And that really is what is giving out loud. Okay, here's my QR code. Go ahead and snap that. Looking forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them.